Hello everyone, my name is Gnaneshwar. I'm a second year undergraduate student at IIT Kharagpur. I'm a student member at Branding and Relations Cell. As a part of Spotlight series, for the next episode, we have Mr. Palkit Lohia, final year undergraduate student of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. Palkit, almost every KGP knows about you, but you would be very glad if you introduce yourself.
Sure. So, my name is Palkit Lohia. I'm a final year student of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, enrolled in its integrated MSc course of Economics. I'm a holder of Lal Bahadur Shastri Hall of Residence. I'm from Raniganj, West Bengal, and currently I'm the undergraduate representative at IIT Kharagpur.
Yeah. Thank you, Palkit. How was your overall experience at IIT KGP, and what suggestions would you give to freshers so that they can avoid making mistakes?
Sure. So, if I have to describe my overall experience at IIT Kharagpur, I'll say it was a journey of self-growth and exploration. Exploration in the sense, when I came to Kharagpur for the first time as a fresher in the Department of Mining Engineering, I was clueless about what to do in life, to be honest. And then eventually, I explored a lot of things, be it coding, be it finance. And my interest in finance actually led me to secure a change in department to the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. And eventually, my journey from switching domains across ML, AI, then be it software, and then ultimately landing a job in finance, it has been, of course, a journey of exploration. In terms of self-growth, I'll say, when you come as a fresher to campus, and now that I'm currently a fifth year, I can actually say this, that when you come here, you have a very narrowed perspective on life, and at the same time, you're sort of a generalist. Right? You tend to explore things, you have a knack of taking risks. But eventually, when you come to the final year, you tend to become more of a specialist. Right? You tend to not diverge from what you are actually trying to do, and you're more focused towards that goal. Plus, your perspective on life broadens in general because you get to interact with a lot of people across diverse cultures and across various demographics of life. So that broadens your perspective on life, and then that's pretty much it. I would say.
Yeah. And
In terms of advice for freshers, I'll say the current scenario in campus: come out of your room, please. Talk to seniors, talk to alums, join societies, at least a couple of them. Try to take up a sport just for the sake of exploring, even if you are not very comfortable in the sports domain in general, but then at least try to take up a sport at some class. And that's it.
yeah, thank you, Palkit, for mentioning all this. And coming to the next question, how has your experience in Springfest and Kharagpur Open Source Society drive you towards your personal and professional growth? And what advice would you give for others to maximize their benefits by actively participating in these societies?
Okay. Those were pretty much the only two slides I was a part of. So, Springfest in general helped me with the managerial aspect and handling basically the time management things and talking to people and stuff like that. It was an experience which I guess is unparalleled because when you come to campus for the first time and in the first year itself you get to be a part of something much bigger than yourself. Springfest, a team of 80 people organizing one of the biggest college festivals in India. It is something that provides exposure to you like none other. And for Kharagpur Open Source Society, I say it has been the best decision I've taken in college. The last 4.5 years, the bunch of people I've met, the craziest people I've ever met, the kind of things that they do on a daily basis, the knowledge that they have for tech, and plus the alum base as well. It is not that old of a society, it started in 2014, but the kind of alum that we have, they are in Germany, they are in Amsterdam, and they're working with some pretty big MNCs. So, in terms of maximizing the benefits as well, I'll say when you get to be a part of a society, you just are not restricted to discussing things regarding society with them. They are your seniors, they are your alums who have experienced things at a much, at a similar level as you. You think that when you come to campus, you need guidance with a lot of things. So they'll help you out with all of it. Along with, when you have a senior to guide you throughout the process, it becomes much easier, at least the college life. So be a part of societies and be as much active as possible. Because when you're active, you tend to innovate things. it is better for the society, plus at the same time it is better for you as well when you tend to innovate things.
Thank you, Palkit. I can relate to most of your words. And coming to the next question, you know the internship season is on, and you have bagged some major internships in big companies like the JP Morgan, Co, and also the summer intern in Amazon.
Right.
So, how was your experience there, and what were the challenges you faced during them?
Right. So, in terms of my experience, I would say JP Morgan, pretty much the best people that I've ever worked with. The experience to start a normal CDC process, you apply, you get a testing, you clear the test, you get an interview shortlist, and then you clear the interview. The major challenges that come in the way is not actually the process, the application process is pretty much streamlined. The problem that we face is with our own mindset, at least in my situation it was, because it's your own mindset, the little things like, what if I don't crack this? What if I don't get into it? What if I don't get a shortlist? These things are constantly there in your head, which kind of pull you back. And I guess if you are disciplined enough, you have put in enough hard work, then I guess the CDC process is pretty simple. There is a bit of randomness, agreed. But then again, if you manifest things good enough, then you'll just be through.
Yeah, we can see such all mixed up emotions in these days. So coming to our next question. So you have emerged as a national winner at City Campus Innovation Challenge 4.0 connected by City India. So can you please drive us through the process and what were the difficulties you faced?
Sure. So it was a 3-step process. The first round that we had was at an individual level. We had to take a test, a normal CP round. We got a shortlist for that. Then we proceeded with the next round where we had to submit a case study on the problem that we are solving and how are we going about solving it. Once we cleared that round, then we had to create a prototype, and then eventually it was a presentation round, the final presentation. All over India, I guess 50,000 people applied for it, and 5 people were shortlisted for the finals. In the process, it was a year-long process, to be honest. It started back in April 22, and the finale and the results were announced on 20th April, if I'm not wrong, this year. So it was a year-long process. It was really fun, but it was an experience that I haven't had before, because being a part of something for a year, constantly working on it, improving it on a daily basis, it was a really nice experience.
Obviously, that would have been a great thing for you. Yeah, and coming to our next question. Palkit, you are also actively involved in your hall activities, be it sports or tech, and also you were the General Secretary of Students Welfare. So, can you please name how your hall played a vital role in your personal and professional growth?
Well, I'll say hall has been a significant contribution shaping me where I am today. My seniors, they entrusted me with a lot of things, be it being a part of the sports, as in the table tennis team of the hall, be it leading my hall in the March Past event, be it leading the hall team in the open source event, or be it being the General Secretary, Students Welfare, catering to over 1900 voters of the hall. I guess the trust that they have shown in me and the support system that I have had throughout the last 4 years, it's something that I really cherish. And at the same time, I guess in general, one should be involved in a hall, because that's what you are identified with, at least not in your first year, then starting second year onwards, that's something that becomes a part of your identity. It's not just limited to KGP, but also it expands outside KGP as well. For example, if you go somewhere, you meet a KGP alum, the first thing that they'll be asking is, "Kaun se hall se ho?" Right? And you get a personal connect there. If that alum happens to be a part of your hall, then the entire dynamics of that situation changes, be it your boss, be it. So, my internship at JP Morgan, there were 50% KGPs on my floor, and my VP was a KGP and he was a 24 graduate from Azad. So, the dynamics changed there as well. Right? We are actively involved in the hall, and at the same time, hall activities in general is a pretty huge platform to shape your own career as well.
So, thank you, Palkit. But not just in hall, but you also expanded your wings to InterIIT too, like for the InterIIT Tech Meet of 11.0. So you were a part of the contingent.
Right.
So can you please share your experience in the InterIIT?
Sure. So the Inter-IIT Technique, I was a part of the grad capital event of Inter-IIT Technique, and it was a high prep event where we had to develop an entire startup in 1.5 months. So we had a team of 10 people, pretty much the best of the brains that I've seen on KGP in terms of the startup culture and everything. In terms of the growth that I saw there, in terms of the effort that I saw myself putting in those 1.5 months, I haven't seen myself do that ever before. And I guess that's what Inter-IIT and the zeal to get the gold does to you. And at least I'll suggest, if you're even a tad bit interested in participating in the tech meet, you should apply to as many as events possible, because if you're part of one, the surrounding, the atmosphere around you for those 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, depending upon your event, it's just a whole new another ballgame. So yeah, it's something that you should be definitely a part of. Plus the legacy that KGP has in the tech meet, it's like in the last 11 tech meets, it's just been 11 times that this has been held. We have never fallen down beneath a third position. It's either been podium, it's always been a podium. Majority it has been a gold, and a few instances we have bagged silver and bronze.
Yeah, that all obviously sounds a very good thing for every KG fan.
Yeah. So yeah, be a part of the technique.
Yeah. So coming to our next question. So can you please explain our viewers about the UG representative post and how one can aspire to be the one?
Sure. So the UG representative, as the name suggests, it is the representative of the entire UG community to the Institute Senate. Now, on paper, the work mostly caters around the academics aspect of one's journey. But then again, the only problems that a student faces on campus are not related only to academics, right? So, as a student representative and as a UG representative, my responsibility is to cater to any need that a undergraduate student, not limited to undergraduate as well. In general, being a student representative, any problem that pretty much any student faces on campus, they could feel free to approach, and then it's pretty much my responsibility along with other stakeholders to take care of the problem. And how one aspires to be one? Well, it starts with very small events, right? You see previous position holders in power. You see them, the work that they do, the impact that they create on people's life in and on KGP. That's something which inspires you, that creates the spark. Then eventually, with the right set of people around you, you get the right push, and eventually that spark turns into a fire of actually contesting for the position. And if you're actually passionate about the position, and if you have actually you have a good candidature, then you get through. You get elected president.
Yeah, this sounds quite interesting. So can you please elaborate about the election process and how you personally got into in the perspective of student advocacy?
Sure. So the election process, it starts with one becoming the department representative. So from all the 19 departments at an undergraduate level, we have a department representative that is selected or elected depending upon the process. Once we have that, people tend to, if they want to apply for the position of undergraduate representative to the Institute Senate, they have to prepare proposals and present it before the remaining department representatives. And eventually it happens on the basis of a presidential election, like on a similar way where how presidential elections are conducted, on a basis of, if there are two candidates or if there are three candidates, there is individual, what do you call it? The algorithm basically checks who is the more favorable one on a 3C2 basis. So if there are n candidates, then the algorithm selects NC2 combinations, and out of those NC2 combinations, whoever comes out as the most favorable candidate, they become the position holder. So that's how the election process is. And in terms of student advocacy, well, I'll say, this early in my tenure, the only thing that I've realized is how important it is to get the inputs of all the stakeholders that are there on campus. So you have the power to take decisions which impact students' life. But then again, just because you have the power, I don't think so you should exercise it all by yourself. I think one should be having say. One should be having a say of all the stakeholders that are involved, whose lives might be impacted by the decision that you make. So if there's a positive change that you can create with the help of a decision that you might take, then sure, go ahead. But before taking a decision which might even have a negative impact on at least or on even one student's life, then I think that you should reconsider it.
Great, Palkit. So I have always wondered how one can actively participate in those many involvements. So you are not just actively participating in them, but also excel in them. So can you please explain how?
So there's something, I mean, I learned it the hard way, but then again, you have to learn how to prioritize things. Right? With these many involvements, you get to understand how to actually go about selecting the tasks that you want to be a part of. Then you need to ask the questions: why do you want to be a part of it? How is it contributing to your professional and personal growth? And if you're doing this, then what should be your priority order in life be? For example, earlier you were a part of 3 involvements. Is the 4th involvement creating that much delta in your life that you have to take it up, and where does it lie now in your priority list? Once you have these questions sorted, I guess it becomes pretty much easy to take decisions and actively manage things at the same time.
Yeah, thank you. Even I should have to reflect on this. So coming to our next question. So basing upon all your previous achievements, how are you planning for your future goals?
I haven't thought about it. To be honest, I haven't. As of now, I have a PPO from JP Morgan Chase, so I'll probably be joining that, and yeah, let's see what happens from there.
So what would be your suggestion for all the juniors and freshmen coming?
Again, the same. Come out of your room, be a part of at least 2 societies, talk to as many seniors and alums as possible, take up a sport, do something which you're actually passionate about. And yeah, definitely CDC. CDC is something that is definitely hyped around in KGP. So, CDC is not a 6-month process, or it's not a 3-month process. It is more like, since the day you step into the campus, you have to constantly put in equal effort to develop your own personality, to develop the circle that you're around, be around people who contribute to your growth. This is something that you have to know. And once you start focusing on not just academics and not just things specific to CDC, you tend to grow. And eventually, I guess some way or the other, it'll come back to you in the form of getting a good enough CDC, or at least excelling in life.
Thank you, Palkit. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and utilizing your valuable time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.